Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna and today we're visiting Kristin Hildabrand, Warren County Extension Agent for Horticulture. And Kristin, today we're going to talk about basil. And I love basil.
Me too.
And so you're going to tell everybody at home how they can raise their very own.
Basil is actually, for us, considered here in Kentucky, it's a tender annual. So, even though that this month is National Gardening Month, you want to wait to make sure that you plant this after the fear of frost has passed. So generally for us here in Central Kentucky, we're talking about Mother's Day weekend. That's a really good weekend to kind of get it established. So, for us in Kentucky, usually you want the soil temps about 60 degrees. It really starts to take off and grow when it gets above 70, and 80 is really where it likes it. So you can start it for Central Kentucky about May 10th. Usually Western Kentucky is a little bit early, like May 1st, and then Eastern Kentucky is a little bit later, May 15th. So you just want to make sure whenever you're establishing this in your garden that you kind of go to that frost-free date.
Is it hard to establish from seed?
No, it's actually not. So if you wanted to do that, you can actually start it. You would take those same dates and back it up about 4 to 6 weeks, and you can start it, in like with grow lights from seed. You can certainly do it after those dates if you want to transplant it, specifically by seeds, but sometimes people like to get it established and started so then they can start using it. So it's completely up to you. But speaking of basil has a lot of variety of cultivars that you can select from. A lot of times sweet basils are the ones that we kind of gravitate towards. So Genovese basil is one that's real common, and it actually has a lot larger leaves. But if you're interested in making like pesto, it's really good for making that. A lot of times people want to do that in bulk, so that way that they can freeze it and store it for later on. But there's other varieties out there too, Joanna, that are really good. There's a holy basil, that's what we call Kapoor tulsi, and so it's used a lot for teas. If you want to maybe have that for teas, it's real resistant to downy mildew, and that is a disease that we find. It's usually an airborne type disease, so a lot of times if you don't have it planted in the right location, you can have that. So that one's a good variety if you're interested in that. Then there's some other citrusy type basils. There's lemon basil, there's also lime basil, if you can find it. A lot of times those have that tangy or citrus flavor that it offers. There's also purple ruffles. It just gives a purple color if you're interested in adding that to your pizza or pastas. And then there's also sweet Thai basil, which it's a slimmer leaf, spicy flavor. A lot of times when people look at those options, those are real good for the garden. We want you to kind of provide at least 12 inches in between plants if you do multiple rows. Also with containers, some people may be interested in growing some basil in containers, and there's a couple of different compact ones that are perfect for that growth of the container. It's Green Globe and Spicy Globe. They're just a little bit different, but still can give you a lot of flavor that way. When you look at planting basil outside, make sure it's in full sun and it's got plenty of airflow, and that'll kind of keep that downy mildew from being a problem. But as far as harvesting, a lot of times people will have questions about harvesting their basil. So you can basically start harvesting whenever you want to. If you're using it just to kind of come indoors to make pastas or pizzas, you can go ahead and kind of harvest with some sharp scissors. I have some harvest scissors that are good for herbs at home, and so you can just kind of snip that off back to some branches and then take it indoors. This one doesn't store well because it's pretty tender. It likes the warm, so if you go into your refrigerator with it, it's not going to perform well. So a lot of times people will just take a little glass of water and put the stems of basil out, but a lot of times you don't want to harvest it until you get ready to use it.
Yeah, just bring it in, put it in a caprese or some type of pesto. We have a lot of recipes in office.
My favorite is the plated up tomato basil salad. I have made that more than once at my house. Loves it. Even my husband loves the tomato pesto corn pizza, and he is very hard to get green things in, but we have a wealth of other recipes too. There's a good fresh corn salad that's really good for the summertime. But if you have want some other ideas of ways to use basil, just give us a call here at the Extension office and we can help you. If you are interested in learning more specifically about growing basil, we have that publication on file if anybody wants to request that pub.
Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.